practice makes perfect. And perfect makes practice? Twilight Sparkle was having a hard time processing the statement.
You... what?
From the other side of the room, Rarity looked up from the dress that she was working on and found her mare friend staring at her with bewildered eyes.
I can't believe Rainbow Dash told you that I was nervous at the idea of asking you out. No, the other thing.
She blinked once, twice, and thrice.
Oh, yes, it's true. I even remember practicing how to ask you out in front of a mirror.
She repeated with all the innocence and nonchalance and ignorance of some pony who'd clearly not registered what she just said.
No, I know that's what you said,
Twilight replied, putting her book down. Her ears lowered, not from sadness, but from sheer confusion. No, what was the word? Disbelief? What?
You practiced asking me out in front of a mirror? Oh, yes, I did.
Rarity replied. Her interest piqued. She put her dress down and smiled.
Why are you so surprised? Well, I'm not. Alright, well, I am, but...
The words stumbled out, tripping like she was at this surprisingly surprising revelation.
I guess that... I wasn't expecting that from you.
Rarity tilted her head.
Well, why ever not, darling? Well, I don't know. It's... you.
She laughed, and it was perfect.
What, may I ask, is that supposed to mean? Well, you know what I mean. You're just...
She faltered, gesturing aimlessly.
Confident? Darling, you say that as if you've never seen me nervous before. Well, I know I have,
Twilight said, now feeling silly with the entire conversation.
Well, I guess...
Her cheeks turned red.
It's just weird to think that you were nervous about asking me out. Oh.
Rarity leaned back on her couch, a less than innocent smile on her lips.
I see. Wait, what?
Twilight asked, knowing very well what that smile entailed.
What do you see? Oh, nothing. Nothing at all, my dear.
Rarity continued, taking her dress and focusing her attention back onto it.
Only that you must need glasses, if you've yet to see what a catch you are, your highness.
Though she rolled her eyes, Twilight couldn't stop a smitten grin from plastering itself on her face. The idea that Rarity had ever been nervous about her, it was certainly a heady thought.
I am a catch,
she whispered, quite proud of herself. She then turned to Rarity.
So, how come you never told me any of this?
Rarity lifted her glasses over to her horn and hummed, clearly deep in thought.
Well, I was worried that it might upset you. Wait, upset me? This is the opposite of upsetting me. I'm upset that you didn't tell me this before. That's what's upsetting. Well, now you know,
she replied.
The shocking truth that I, Rarity, was quite the nervous wreck at the idea of asking you out.
She grinned.
So, are you satisfied? Yes,
Twilight said, which was a lie since then, she asked.
So, what exactly made you nervous? Twilight.
She put her glasses back on.
As much as I would love to indulge your desires to be showered with compliments, I really must finish this commission. Well, I wasn't trying to get you to shower me with compliments,
she lied.
I was curious.
Rarity giggled.
I'm sure. How many times did you practice it? Darling. I'm sorry.
Twilight replied, turning back to her book, which was very interesting and fascinating, thank you very much.
You're a very silly pony, Twilight Sparkle,
Rarity said. She glanced at Twilight for a moment and then back to her dress.
Well, if you must know, I don't quite remember how many times it was, but I do remember it must have been several hours.
She then paused.
I couldn't afford to make mistakes when it came to you. Wait, for hours?
Twilight thought, thrilled by both the answer and the fact that Rarity wasn't seeing how awful she was at hiding her delight.
I see,
she said after clearing her throat and regaining composure.
Well, thank you for telling me. So, any other questions? Oh, no, I'm done,
she replied, focusing on her book. She was done. She was a catch, and she didn't need Rarity to go into extreme detail about it.
I don't need to know anything more than that. Well, alright then.
A few minutes passed, and Rarity spoke up.
You know,
she continued.
I'd forgotten how nervous I was. I remember having to write down my entire speech. I even wrote 4 drafts on it, including an entire outline of how I was gonna do it. Wait, really? Well, that's interesting,
Twilight said, composed.
It might be interesting to read them sometime in the future, but I just want to finish my book right now. That sounds like a splendid idea, darling.
A minute must have gone by.
So, where are they now? You're not gonna let me finish my dress unless I tell you, are you? Well, no. Darling, I really don't want you to be upset. Well, I won't,
Twilight insisted. Why would she ever be upset about something like that? Another moment passed, and Rarity finally relented.
Alright. They're in the last drawer of my night desk, and for stars' sake, don't trip over yourself running to them.
Twilight returned moments later, snuggling onto the couch and regaliating herself with 4 hoof-written drafts of Rarity showering her in compliments, and affection, and endless promises of making her happy until their dying days, alongside with an outline detailing a dinner date in Canterlot, and a picnic by a lake, and a moonlight confession, and Twilight Sparkle was upset to find that she was upset.
You're right,
she said.
I'm actually upset. I did tell you, didn't I? I knew that if I told you about any of this, you would compare it to how you confessed to me and saying it would have been better if I'd confessed. Of course it would have been better,
Twilight exclaimed, practically jumping off the couch.
It would have been 1,000 times better than what I did. I disagree completely,
Rarity replied shortly.
Rarity, do you remember how my confession to you went? Because I remember, and I'm starting to think that you don't remember.
Rarity looked to her.
Twilight Sparkle, darling, dearest, sweetheart, to my dying day, I shan't ever forget us. Us, talking by the punch bowl at the gala, me looking beautiful as I waited for you to finish, you being adorable as you stammered your way through asking me out, me tearfully accepting, you being so shocked that you stumbled back onto the table and tipped the entire bowl of punch onto yourself, me having to search the entire castle after you politely teleported away, punch bowl and all. Oh,
Twilight said curtly.
You do remember. I do. You were absolutely hopeless, my darling.
She perched her glasses atop her head and fluttered her eyelashes.
And frankly, I'd never been more hopelessly in love.